Good morning, traders. Welcome to our daily webinar. So this is a trade we were analyzing this morning. For my YouTube viewers, I'm going to give you this very quick. We're looking for a sell setup here. And we would watch it if it comes and break through here or if it stops short. Why? Because it could go back up or it could drop. We're expecting it to drop. All right, I'll go through the details as I come to it. Let's go. Dollar index. It's a new week. We're going to start with a new slate. We're going to put all the trades on. For those of you who don't know me or don't know what I do, go back, look at my YouTube channel, Anil Mangal, look at what I do. If you want to understand more deep of how wave analysis work and how it changes, go back to, I think was in early May. We did a entire week live session where traders who joined us for that period saw what I do. It's recorded, it's on YouTube. You can go and you'll have follow-up to the trades we took. We did it twice, so you can go in my YouTube channel, look at those videos that are daily, one after the other. I think we did in May and we did one in April or in February. Go back and check those this year, and you can check them, and it will help you understand how patterns change. So what we do is something called wave analysis based on patterns, and based on that, we look at how the market is moving. So we make assumption based on the patterns we see, what we think the market is going to do next. Let's go. For those of you who know what I do, let's go. So we're in the dollar index. I'm looking at this. We're in this big sideways move, right? Literally, it's a big sideways move here. We've got this impulse and we've made this and we go up. Now, at this point, we would expect the market to come here, break the low and then go back up. But it went up and it made a flat here. So if we make a flat here, my assumption is, well, there is a chance they might go back up one more here and then drop. So this would be more like a 1, 2, 3 structure and then drop. Can it take off from there? Well, in very rare cases, if you find a contracting flat in here, that is possible. I don't see this as a contracting flat. No, again, what if this was an AB squeeze? We discussed that. I think we discussed the idea that if this is some kind of a correction and this was a squeeze, then you can go with, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 here, but 1, 2, 3 you still need to get. So there's no way I see this as a 1, a 2, and a 3. There'll be too many contracting flats in that. So we're not working on that. We're working on the fact that this eventually falls. Now, because this is sharp and we don't have any sharp wave anywhere in here that could manage with that, the assumption is that this would still go back up. This would still come back here and then break through, right? That's the assumption based on the way we look at patterns, that this here is going to be a flat. We will break the top. We're going to break this top and then drop. We still have to drop to complete this pattern, after which they're going to go back up, right? So the thought process is this comes here, this comes here, and then we go back up. This would be a flat, and then it goes. Now, the question you would say, well, if it works like that, great for all of us. We probably might not get a buy setup there. If we do get it, we'll take it. If we don't get a buy setup and it goes up very slow, because it's already going slow, if they go up very slow like that, we don't get a trade, we will definitely look for a sell. Here's the question. What if it drops from here? What if you say to me, well, I don't know. What if you're wrong about that? What if this belongs to something else? I don't know, anything else. Take, for example, something here as an expanding flat. Take something here as a running flat. What if it is doing that? What if that was a big running flat and this is going to drop? Then what we do in that case, we will say, okay, keep an eye on this as it stands. Put an entry order for a sell. Put an entry order for a sell here. And if it actually drops really fast, you stay with the trade. It will probably consolidate, and then we kick into our trade management strategy. Or it could literally do this and go right back up, which means in this case, you have to get out for break even, right? If you followed that 1 week, you saw how we do that, right? We did it many times in that 1 week, so you saw how it's done. I'm not going to go into that detail here now. So we will put a sell entry here, assuming that this could drop, and it might not be the running flat we're looking at, because in any case, even if it goes back up, we're not so keen on that buy. The buy itself is irrelevant because there's no really big move to the upside we're looking for. We're looking for a big move to the downside. So we're going to take the risk of putting a sell entry on it and hope we are wrong about the sell entry. It goes up there and then we'll take the sell from the top. See? Very simple. So we're going to put this as a sell, but I truly believe it's not going to kick in as a sell. It's probably going to get to the top here, and then we're going to see if it comes down. On the 1 hour, that is pretty sharp move going up. So if you want to be on the safe side on the 1 hour, put it under the low. If you're aggressive, and if you have the experience and you can manage the trade, you can put it where I just had it. So for the sake of YouTube, we're going to put it under the low. You wouldn't see how we manage this trade. So I'm not making a trade call for you, because you're not going to be there in the next, you're not going to be there for the London Open, the New York Open, and after the New York. We're going to be in the room all those time in our trading room right here. So we will manage this trade, but I'm giving you an idea how we take trades and how we manage them. Let's go. Silver. Okay, silver dropped quite a lot. We thought they'll just break this low, but they dropped quite a lot, but you're getting a buy setup here. So what silver is showing is that there is a buy setup. We've got an impulse. Right here, we're making consolidation. I think this would probably come back here. Somewhere in here, if we get a running flat, we're looking for a buy setup. I'm not trying to sell this here, not as yet. If I'm going to sell that, it has to be a flat. So let's go on the 4-hour. We're at a low. I'll bring this in the daily quick just to show you what the thought process is, so you can understand where we're coming from for those who are new. Here is an idea, just an idea so that you can think very quick. You had a sharp drop and you had a consolidation here. See what happens after that? It drops. It made another consolidation and it drops. So we have a sharp move, and guess what they're doing here? They're consolidated. Now this can come a little more like here, right? But eventually they should make a move up, either for a flat, a bigger flat here, or totally to retest this stock. One out of the two. That is irrelevant now, but one out of those two can happen. So because we're at a low point in this, what you do when you're at a low point is you start to look for it to go back up. Forget about patterns and what pattern we're in here. When you're at a low point, you're expecting it to go back up. Can it drop some more? Of course. If you were following me last week with this, I said this thing looks like it can drop. It didn't go there exactly the way we wanted it to go, but as you can see, step by step, we were managing the trade and said, okay, well, this was all a correction. It dropped with a big flat here, which is rare, but that happens. Now we're here. If it goes up, we won the trade. So we've got to get a perfect flat here, a perfect flag or flat or something that is small. And I think we can make an argument that it's probably going to happen. It might stay here longer than I think, because I believe this might come here. It might even go back up there and then drop. If we get this, we're going for a buy. In any case, if this drop here, we will start to look for the buy setup. We make an assumption that this could go up with a 1, 2, 3, where the third one has a 3-wave structure in it. We're looking for a buy setup. The only way we'll be selling this is if this moves, comes back to the bottom here, and then go back up. So if whatever happens, give me a flat here, we're looking for a sell from the top going down. As long as we stay in that top range for the consolidation, we're looking for a buy setup. And especially since we're at the bottom, we will look for the buy setup. So we don't have a trade set up here as yet, but I would put it as a possible buy, which means in this case, we're looking for a buy in the making. That's my thing for, we're looking for a buy trade that is going to happen today. Gold, same here. I think you can clearly see it's going up. The difference with gold now is that once it gets to the top here, there is a very, very good chance it could drop one more, right? Because this could be a flat. If I'm wrong about that and there's a contracting flat here, this would be the end and we'll take off. Now, there could be a contracting flat in that. We don't know that. We're not going to go whether there is or not a contracting flat in there. If this is a contracting flat, this could be the low point. We broke the low, and this could be the one that takes off. Now, this could be all the correction here. So this might be the end of the whole structure we got. In any case, if we get a buy setup here, we'll take it to about this level. We'll put it to positive. And if we're wrong about it, we'll try to get out before it drops to the bottom, or we'll take break even. If you're right about it, it could come back all the way and totally go up because you have the same structure like you have on silver, right? You have a big flat forming at the top there. And if a big flat is forming at the top here, the chances are this would either come here and come down more or totally go back up. We test the top and then maybe come down, maybe continue to go. Again, this is irrelevant. What we need is this trade here to go back to that top. So we need a trade to get back to this top, and then we'll see what happens from there. Go back to the 4-hour. This is the top of this move, so it's not going to break that top. It will become a break-even trade. If they break through this top, we stay with the trade, or we add more trades to it. So you look for a buy setup here in the 15 or the 1 hour. Okay, looks like we might get a running flat. I would assume we'll get a small running flat here. We'd let this pull back, and then we'd look for a buy setup to go. It's not the best trade. Risk to reward is even less than in the silver, but it will be a buy setup. So we're waiting for a buy setup here. Then we'll take the trade. This one was a good buy. You close that trade. It didn't actually totally break out of the bigger structure. It broke this one, but it didn't break out of the bigger structure. We're still in this consolidation. I don't think this is going to drop. I think this one will probably just come here, and then there might be another buy to that level. We're not looking for the sellers yet until we break out of this structure here, right? So only when this break out of this structure, probably tag that top, we will be looking for the sell to the downside. So there might be one more buy here for my traders. Let's see if we get that buy, especially if this stays here and then go back up. We could go with this trade. We may or may not take the trade because it's at the risky, very risky point to buy it, but we'll decide if we want it. But once they break that top, we're going for the downside, right? Can they break just this top and turn? Can they just break that top there and then drop? Yeah, that's possible. We'll be in a much longer consolidation. If we don't break that top, we'll assume that all of this is still consolidation. So we'll be here for the whole of summer. Let's see. Euro. Okay, so the same thing here we had in the euro. We were expecting this sharp move to make a flag and go up. We're expecting this to make a flag here and then go up. It didn't go. You're not in the trade. It actually dropped. No problem. We're looking for a running flat. So this is probably going to go up a little more, and then we'll get one more drop. Let's go to the bigger picture and take a look and see what we have. This is what we have. So we will make an assumption that this here is the consolidation. This is a consolidation. We still have that sharp move. So even if this makes one more here, drop to this level, we're still going to go back to that top. So whether we get that sell or not, we'll see, depending on whether there was a setup, but we're definitely going to go for that one up. So let's go and see. If we get a sell, we'll take it. It's a very nice trade once it confirms what we think it is. We don't have any confirmation of a sell as yet. Now, this might look like it's forming something for a sell, but no, it's more of a flag. It's more of a small flag here, and I think that should make one more up. Do I want to buy it at this point? No. It's too risky. If it is making a running flat, that is too risky to buy. If we think this is a contracting flat, let's go with the possibility that there is a contracting flat. This is the low, and this is going up. Well, guess what? Let it break this structure. Let it break through this structure. Break through there, make a consolidation, and then we start buying. We need that confirmation. So right now, I'm not going to go with a contracting flat. I'll go with the possibility that this is making a running flat. And then it's going to drop. If this drops without us, let it drop. We will buy from the bottom upwards. Because we're still in the big consolidation. And we know this thing is going to go back up one more because we have too much consolidation in the middle. And if you understand anything with patterns, you will know that once you break this low, there's a chance it's going to go back up. So we'll wait on this. We're not going with the buy. We're not going with this buy, and we don't have a sell setup. So we're just going to wait on this one until it forms. Maybe later today, we'll have a better understanding as to the action. But if it drops here, we are definitely going to look for buy setups. If it goes here, we would look for the sell setup to break the low and then go back up. So we can get either of those two. Bang. Very good. This is a simple one. Just go with the buy. See? Sometimes you get them as simple as this. Sometimes you get them very complex. This one is simple. Go for the buy. We're looking for this straight up. When it gets there, this will be a flat, and there's a good chance you're going to get one more drop because we didn't break that low. So put it here. What are we looking for? Yeah, one more up. This would be a flat of its own. We would see whether that is all the correction. Maybe not. Maybe this one just comes here. Drop here, go back up like this, give you a big running flat, and then drop. This is the target. Once you break that on the bigger picture, could be upside, right? Remember, we're looking at that as a running flat. And once we started looking at this as a running flat here, we figure out that 1, 2, 3, we're coming down. We're going to break this low. And now we can almost confirm that they're going to break the low. The question is, how far would it go after break the low? Now, let's say they take the whole of the summer to break this low. Coming September, this thing is going to start a really big move up. It is going to start a really, really big move up. And from that point, We'll see what happens, right? We had this one. So you had this flat, kind of drop, make a flat, drop, make a flat, drop again. I'm pretty sure we have divergence here. We're going to be looking for an up move. Let's see if we have the divergence here. Yep, no question asked. Between this and this, you will get divergence. But between this and this, you also have divergence. When you see that, you're thinking either channel or ending diagonal, right? There are two patterns we know that created that thing. You're thinking channel or ending diagonal. And in this case, both of those are possible. So you will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you start to look for the upside. Starting to make sense, right? So let it break that low, and then we'll start to look for the upside. Let's see. We're coming there. Go back to the 1 hour. We're almost at that low. Let's get this straight up today. And then you have to take profit immediately. My traders, you can get a little more aggressive. I don't think we should, but let's keep it at top for now. And then we'll see whether we can get more aggressive. It's still early. They could still make a bigger correction. They can come back deeper into this here. Don't get into this one. This one could get here and then come back and, you know, then go. So keep it at the top for now. That's a small flag. If it is a nice 1 hour flag, keep it at the top and let's go with that trade. So this is a buy. Aussie. Definitely a buy. Let's go. You should probably already be in that buy there. We can already take the trade. I'm not making a trade call on YouTube. This is for my traders. That is an active trade, right? You would watch it when it comes to this top here, and then you want it to break out. Let me use the yellow. You'd watch it when it comes here and you want it to break out. We're looking for this move up, and then we're looking for downside. If we're wrong about that, and there is a contract, and this is a correction of its own, well, we're looking for this to go back all the way back to the top. This is the daily trend line at the bottom there. It's irrelevant in terms of the line itself, but where they stop is relevant. So if we're either coming back all the way to the top here, either fast, either slow, it doesn't matter, right? Or we first make this running flat here. Make one more drop and then do that. So this is a good trade either for the running flat or for total upside, or if it goes slow like this, then we'll drop again. So we have options when it gets there. If it goes slow, it's going to drop. If it goes fast, it's going to break out. What do I know? We don't care which one it's going to do. Let's get this trade first, and then we'll deal with the rest of it. Right? This is a good one. So I like the trade. Let's go. New Zealand. Same thing. Buy setup. First, we go for the running flat. First, we go for this running flat, and then we'll see what happens from there. This one is also at the bottom of a daily structure, right? So we will assume first we go for this running flat. If we're wrong about that, we go for this running flat. If we're wrong about that, we go for this one. So once this one is negated, they can come here, go back there, come here, and then go, right? So this is the possibility of how it can develop. Once every one is negated or completed, we will start to get this big move up. So let's see, do we make that big flat there or we don't make it? It doesn't matter to us. All of them is buy setup. So this is a buy setup now. We're going for this one first. If we're wrong about that, which means somewhere in here, let's say this is a correction of its own, we're going for this one. And if you're wrong about that, which means this is a correction of its own, which I think that is, we're totally going up. So we're going to go step by step. Let's get this straight first. I like this. It's a good 1 hour trade. Nice flat, perfect buy setup. This week should be amazing. If these things work out the way we want, this week should be good. Swiss. Okay, it's coming back here. And at this point, we have to be careful, right? At this point, we know this was going to come back down here. So we're making this running flat. I do think this is a running flat here. So there is a chance that this might go up. If it is going to drop, let's go to the 4 hour. And we know this can drop more. If it is going to drop, we'd have to see whether we get a flat or a flag here for a sell. So let's go to the 15 and look at that. Now, because of all the consolidation we had in here, with all of this here, I'm not sure whether this flat is completed. Right? We have some weird patterns in there that we can either make them work or don't make them work. So this could either be a top and we're dropping, or we're still in the consolidation. So we'll just keep it simple. We'll pull this trend line. And once we're above the trend line, don't do anything. Take this out. That one already dropped. There was a sell setup at the top there. There's a sell setup here for that trade. If it didn't go, just leave it. I don't know if this is real. This wick here, we have to check to see whether that wick is real. If this starts to make more of a consolidation here in this range, we'll consider the sell. As of now, just leave it. Just leave it until we have more confirmation of what it's doing. Go back to the 1 hour. I don't see much happening there for the trade. I think it should drop because we have a lot more to the downside to go in the bigger picture. Right? This could drop all the way to the bottom here. Can they go back deeper before they drop? Yes. We don't have a buy setup. There is no buy setup in it. CAD. I think this one is simple. We had it here, but remember what I said, if they make a flag, you go for the flag. We thought when they break that top, they will drop. They actually broke the top to there and dropped. Nothing is wrong with that. That's still a consolidation, just a bigger one. So this was a small consolidation. This is a big consolidation. This is the one, at least to break this low and then maybe further. We don't know how far they're going to go after they break the low because we broke that top. And by rule, if you break that top, two things can happen. You can come and retest this low, maybe even retest this low. We don't think they'll break this low. We're looking at a 1, a 2, and a 3. We may break that low, but if this turned out to be just a consolidation here, they're going to go up one more. So we want this trade here. And then from that point, either they continue to go or they go back up. It doesn't matter. When we get that trade, then we will see if they're turning, we'll buy. If they're dropping, we'll get another trade to the downside. So you have to keep that in mind that it could just come to this level and then go back up, right? Can it drop? Can it just drop like this and then make a bigger flat here like this? Drop, make a flat, drop again, and then go back up? Yeah, we'll get out, we'll get it back again. So these are manageable trades. And if you're watching on YouTube, what I just showed you there is a possibility that if you take the trade, it might not go immediately. And if you don't know how to manage it, you will end up being on the wrong side of the trade. That is why trade management is something we've been, we started this morning a discussion in our room about trade management, and we're probably going to continue talking about it every day because that's the most important part of your trading, how you manage your trades, understanding the rules of what it can do and what it can do and how you should manage it. So this is a good sell setup. We'll go with the sell here. Yen. Okay, so yen has a problem here now. In big picture, we have to come back down. This is a weekly, monthly, yearly top. So if this is the flat, which I doubt it is, this is the top, this would drop. That's one option. But because this thing is a little too sharp to be that, you do have a consolidation here, but it's pretty sharp. And this one is a little too short. If this had come here, we would definitely go with that as a running flat. The thought process we have is that maybe this thing here is the running flat. We're going to make a new high, then come back here, go back there, and then drop. So that is one pattern we looked at that is possible. We looked at this and we see that possibility of a pattern. So what we need to do is exclude that possibility. Can we buy it if it's going to go up? Well, I don't see a buy setup. This is not a buy setup. What I see is a sell setup. So we'll take this out. We sold that, we sold this, and we sold this. Remember last week we were selling, those were 3 or 4 sells we had there. So at this point, what I'm looking at is this looks like a flat in the making. Now, sometimes the flat turned out to be an expanding. This flat would drop. This would go here and it will drop, but it will only give you an expanding flat before they go. So we will take this trade, but we will manage it with caution, which means it could still be an expanding flat and go. Again, if this is the running flat here, this thing is going to totally drop. In the yen, any sell setup we take, right? We already agreed on that. And the yen, any sell setup we get, we're taking them. So if this gives us a sell setup, we'll take it. Is it a complete pattern? Doesn't look quite complete to me, right? Because this piece is sharp here. This is sharp. This might be the first one that gives you this. So I wouldn't be surprised if this actually dropped a little beyond this. Maybe a 1, 2, 3. Go back up there, make a running flat, and then go. So if you're going to take the trade, you could say, well, what if it actually is a contracting flat like this and this drops? What if, just what if this was all the consolidation here? You got 1, 2, 3, you get 1, 2, 3 and this drop. Well, then in that case, we can take the trade. But you're aware of 2 things. It's either a contracting flat or it's a running flat in the future making. I am more convinced it's a running flat in the future making. So you've got to be cautious by putting your stop at a higher point. And there are 2 ways you can do that. My traders knows if you want to make a bigger stop and still get the value of what you're getting, you increase your risk. But you're never allowing it to get out there. Remember, trade management, you're never going to allow that to happen. That happens in the rarest of cases if it happens really, really quick. A stop loss is not something you said, okay, let it go, take me out at my stop loss. My stop loss is something, if it's the worst case happen, that's where you take me out. So the stop loss is the worst case scenario, not the best case scenario. So we're going to look for this. We will put the entry for a sell and we'll manage it. Why? Because yen does make a lot of contracting flats. We remember in the past, right? We make some weird contracting flats and just drop. We'll put the entry for the sell. We don't have a buy set up here as yet. This could change to a buy only if this drops here in reverse. We get rid of this trade and then we start to look for the buy setup. In this case, if it drops reverse, it has to make a flag because if it drop reverse, it'll still drop. In that case, we're still with the trade. So we'll manage this. We're going to be here all day and we'll manage this trade. You're in New Zealand? Turned out that might be the top, right? That might be the top. We might be dropping one more. Let's see. This one was really, really slow going up. Let's see the bigger picture. I don't think they're literally dropping to the low. I don't think we're making a new low. This move up here was really slow. So there is a possibility it could make a new low and then go back up. They will go back up, right? It's a question whether we get a new low. I really don't think so, although the move up is slow, but we can get a deeper correction. Can we get a deeper correction at this point? Well, we'll see. Let's take the trade and then we'll see whether this drops much more. Or it's sharp move down, so there is a chance it's going to break this low. It might start a deeper correction here before they go, right? We do have divergence in the chart, a lot of it from this point, a lot of divergence. Could it be that we're making a bigger flat in here? That is possible. That means the sell setup is there. Do we have the sell setup? It's a long, you will have to go in and look at all the patterns, just put an entry here. This is a nice impulse. Keep a stop above there. You might have to increase the risk because this is pretty huge. This is about 200. So we'll have to look at it differently. Let's see if we can get it differently. 1, 2, 3, this could be over. This here could be a 1, 2, 3 and over, right? If we get a flag here, we'll treat it different. If you took that trade, you can keep a stop here. This is a really big stop. So your lot size is going to be really small, even if you increase it. Let's see if we can put it here, but let's see. We'll use a stop here. If it tags and it doesn't go, we get the hell out of the trade. We'll wait for a flag. If we get a flag, that would be a better entry because we'll use the flag to sell. So I would say take this out and wait for a flag. We're putting a sell in the making. Wait for the flag. Let's get the flag because that will give us an advantage in risk to reward. If you want to put this trade on, you have to put the stop there just to be on the safe side because you don't want to tag you like this, spike there and then drop. You don't want that to happen, right? So you put any stop here, you're putting your trade at the risk. You're putting your account at the risk because they can tag you and you might not get a chance to exit before they get there and then drop, right? Within this range, you could get a single spike like that. You don't want that to happen. You're okay. Okay, this one is perfect. This has got a flat. You got 1, you got 2, you have 3. This would have been a perfect sell if we were there earlier. This didn't go. This turned out to be a big flat. Something we discussed that this could be a big flat, but we don't have it. You have to wait for a flag under the low, which didn't happen. Where would this take you? Let's see in the bigger picture where this take you. Just one more down, not very far. One more down here, and that would be about it. Be careful. Got to be really careful of that. This could be a correction of its own. 1, 2, 3. That is a correction of its own. This was a flag of its own. This would probably just drop here and then go right back up. Let's see the bigger picture, what it needs to do. Yep, it will go back up. It's not going to go very far. So if you want to take that trade, you see you're starting to get divergence here in the 1 hour, you will see divergence. Yes, a lot of it. And you might even get internal divergence in this last one. Not the best trade. I would probably say we stay away from it. It's not the best trade. Let it drop, let it go. If you want to take it, it's a trade. Try to get it on a 15. Wait for a flag here, get the trade from this point, put a stop here and try to get it to this level so you get a good risk to reward on it. Euros. We're managing this one. We already discussed it. We're looking for a sell. The chances are it might go back up first, then come down. And then we'll manage that trade from there. This could also go down a lot. This one could go down quite a lot because that is the top of the structure. We have a lot of divergence. This is the top of the structure. And we have a lot of divergence on all time frames. We have between the first impulse and this impulse, and we have internally in this piece. So this could drop, and it might even drop through the bottom. There's a good chance this could come all the way here. This is the move you're looking for. So that is a very, very good trade. Keep your eyes on that, and we'll manage that candle by candle in the room, right? We're going to look at every move into the room. Put the entry order, and we'll manage it from there, right? Keep it about 3 or 4 pips under the low, because if they come exactly to the low and go back up, you don't want them to tag you. You want to be at least about 1 spread away from the low. Euro Swiss. Well, it all depends on how you look at this. This could be a running flat here. Take this out. We did discuss the possibility of this being a running flat here, like 1, 2, 3. Sorry, this one. 1, 2, 3. Then this is dropping, but it's not dropping really fast. We're in the middle of nothing. So let's take all of this out and wait and see what it is. No trade set up there, because you're consolidating in this piece. So we'll stay away from it. On the big picture, we should go up. I think they can go up from there, but I think it will drop one more. We'll make another flat and then drop. So this looks like it should go up. This should probably go back up there. This would be like a 1, 2, 3. This would be a 1, 2, 3. Drop, you probably come back here and go back there, and that will complete the whole pattern. Let's stay away from this. 1 second, guys. Yes, sorry about that. I just had to take a sip of water. Let's go. So I don't see the good trade setup here as yet. Let's stay away from this, and we'll come back to that. Let's go. Euro yen. Okay, we're going back up. Makes sense. We could go back up from this point, especially if you look at this as a 1, 2, 3. It didn't come deep enough. I wanted to come deep enough for the trade. So I don't think the buy setup here would be a good idea. Let's wait and see what it does, because this is not deep enough for that one. Even if you're trying to make a running flat here, like let's say this is the 1, 2, 3 and go back up, right? So this is the short one. I don't like the idea. Let it go some more. Let it break out of this structure, proves that they're going up, and then we'll consider that buy. It's not the best buy. We'll buy some other yen pair if we get a setup, right? So let's leave that alone. Euro pound. Perfect. Put the sell. If any one of you are in the sell already, you did well. I don't see, maybe on very low time frame, but put that sell there. Once it drops to this level, put it to break even. If it drops to the bottom, that's a trade you want. So this one is a sell. Vamos. That sell would have given you break even or positive, depends on how you manage it. Let's see where we go. That was a 15-minute trade. We're stuck in a sideways move. It's going to come down back, but I don't think that would be the drop. We did break that top, but this one came back all the way to the stop. So we really don't want to do. We want the sell, but we don't want that sell. Right? We know this is going to drop to this level. But the question is, do you want this sell where they went back so deep into it? If you guys are in that sell already, you did well. Anybody who took the sell already from this break here or on that flag did well. I think we're making a flat. I still think this looks like a flat. Give you one more up and then drop because of the depth of which is coming. If I'm wrong about that, they're totally going to drop. So let's wait under. If you're not in the trade, wait for the flag under here before you sell. If it makes a flag before that, if it makes another flag before that, right? See, like this, if they make another flag here like this before that, we'll sell this flag to this level, break this low, put it in the profit. And if it goes back up, we cut the trade here. If it drops, we stay with the trade. It could drop. Right at this point, from this point, we drop. The depth of that pullback is what is bothering me. That is most likely a flat when they do that, right? And they pull back that deep. But let's see. We did break the top, so if they want to drop, it's okay. Keep an eye on the trade for a small flag. We're coming back to this low. Even if they go back up, even if this comes here, make a new high. We're looking for this trade now. Right? We know that's going to happen. Pong yen. Well, if you want to buy the Pong yen, might be the best buy in this case, because we can make an argument for 1, 2, 3, go back, break this top, and then come down. So let's see on the 15 if we have a flag or a flat here. Not as yet. I don't think so. Let this come back here. So let this one consolidate here some more, and then we'll go with that buy. We're looking for a buy setup. Let's put it that way. So let's go with a buy setup. Can this actually drop through the bottom, make a running flat? Well, this might be the B part of it, so don't worry with the sell. Let's wait for a buy setup. Swiss yen, pound Swiss, there's a Swiss yen, pound Swiss. So this one dropped, that was that, take the break even. It went back up. Let's see where we broke the low. So is it a reversal or is it the bigger running flat? Let's go here and see which one it is. It could be both. It could be the running flat, or it could be this is the low and we're going up, right? Remember, we thought this would break out. It didn't break out, it dropped. So put this back here. It's still going to go back to the top, right? It's a question from where it goes back. Right, that still is going to go back. Now, if this makes a flat here, we could tag the low. Let me take this off. If it makes a bigger flat here, we're going to break through the low. So if this turns out, instead of going back up, we think they can go back up and then come down. But if they go sideways here, because of the sharpness of that, if it goes sideways here, we're coming to break the low and then go. The bigger pattern will break the low most likely, right? Because this definitely looked like it's one of those slow moves that is going to break the low, right? So come here and let's see, do we have a buy setup? Well, within this range, we do. Take that out. Within the range here, we can look for a buy setup if we get it. Don't like it. This looks more like a running flat in the making. Right, so let's see if we get a consolidation here, or if we get a flag for sell. Right, if we don't get a consolidation, we can go with it. This move down was very corrective. You can see this piece here down. It's very corrective. This one had a 1, 2, 3 here. If this makes a flag here, we can consider the sell. Go with a running flat, drop. So we will wait for a sell setup. It's not enough to go yet, right? It'll make something more like this. Confirms at least one drop, break even you can get. That's your worst case scenario. Let's wait for a sell setup here. And that's a short term. If it's going to be a buy, you literally want it to break that top and then make a flag, right? Confirm that it's not a running flat. So there might be more of a sell setup forming here for my traders if you want to get aggressive. Pancad, this is a buy setup. We can actually put the end shorter on already. You can put the end shorter, you're already making a flag. It has to come way to the bottom before you take off that. It has to come, this has to come all the way to the bottom here before you take it off, or now it's valid. So this sell was perfect. Look for the buy setup now. I think it's going to be good. We're at the bottom of a structure, I think. Yeah, we're pretty much at the bottom of a structure. We're looking for this sharp move up. We're looking for this move up here. And if this is the start of it, that would be good. Right, if this here is the start of it, that's the move we're looking for. We're looking for something that's going to be like this. Well, let's see if this goes. That's a buy setup we have there. Put a buy on. And we'll see how it goes. The only way we change that is if this really comes all the way back to the bottom here. Then it will be a flat in the making. Pound New Zealand. All the pound trades are confusing. Some of them are upside, some of them are downside. And this one should be, we knew this was going to drop, but this should be upside because we're looking at this as the B wave, which means we're looking at this as a flat. At the moment, we're looking at this as a flat for upside. One more upside at least. Let's go to the 15. It's not a buy setup because this is coming back really deep. And even if it breaks, this one did have some consolidation. Even if this comes back to this level here, it will still be a buy setup. I don't think we should try to sell this. Leave it alone. Let's see what happens, especially if they come here, go back there, make a flat, drop one more and then upside. It has to break the top because I don't see an ending. I don't see a flat in here without this piece. All right, so this was the up move. This is the down move. Let it go back up. We don't have a trade. We'll leave it alone for now. Aussie yen. Okay, here's a yen pair that looks like it wants to go up, but this is a deep pullback. All right, so let's see where we are in the bigger picture. Yep, this could go up. You might be looking at a possible running flat in here. If this comes here, I look at this as a running flat. One more drop, right? It's a much bigger one than this, but let it come here and drop one more here. Finish this pattern and then go back up. right? That's the more logical thing. So we allow it to go. Okay, do we have a buy setup in it? Again, the buy setup is not that good. Take this off. The buy setup is not great. I don't see the depth of the pullback is what I'll be worried about for the buy. Wait for a flag above here, wait for a flag, and then we buy. There's more to the upside if it's going to go, right? So let it make a flag and then we go for the trade. We're assuming it's going to be a running flat. You can wait for a buy setup and then go for the trade. Aussie, New Zealand. Okay, we're literally doing this. Let's take that one as a separate one. Take this one as a separate one. Go into 1 hour. We're not going anywhere. Even though you have a sell set up there, I don't think we're going anywhere. We're still in the uptrend. And all this could do is probably drop here and then go back up. Right? So leave that alone. It's not the best trade. Aussie, New Zealand moves really slow. Ignore it. Aussie, Swiss. Okay, from this point, we want an up move, right? Let's see if we get the up move. We want an up move to complete the bigger flat. We're looking at this bigger structure here, and we're consolidating at the top. So at this point here, you want this to go back up there and then come back down here to complete this bigger flat and then take off, right? So what we're looking for is something that should look like this, right? This big flat here. See, we've got a big flat in the middle there. Pretty big flat in the middle there. You've got a 1, you've got a 2, you've got a 3, and then you come down. So we're in the middle of that big flat here now. We're in the middle of this big flat. We're at the bottom of it. Let's see here. Do we have a buy setup or is it still a sell? Well, it's still a sell because as far as I'm concerned, this is a small flat. So you might still get a sell setup here, which means it's going to drop 1 more. If you want to sell, you have to be really good at getting out of trades. If you're an expert of getting out of trades really quick, right? Like it dropped, get the hell out of it because we're going to be looking for a buy at the end of this week or in the middle of this week. 1 more drop and up. What if this is actually the start of the upside, which with a deep pullback? No, I don't think so. If it is, let it break this impulse and start consolidating, we'll buy. Aussie Swiss. I'm putting this as a sell, but that is if you want to trade, right? That's the Aussie Swiss, right? That is your choice if you want to trade. It's a sell setup. It's if you want to trade, right? So I'm going to put it as an aggressive sell, which means you have to know there's a risk in that sell. It's just going to be a single drop. If you get it from the top, would be better. If it goes higher, just ignore it until it breaks the top, make a flag, and then we buy. Aussie CAD. Looks like 1 more drop too. I did say it looks like 1 more drop. Every drop here also is a risk. Let's see. Yeah, because we're in this, we broke the low already. So every drop is a risk and we don't have that sharp move up, right? This sharp move up. So at some point it's going to happen, but this is going to drop 1 more. This might be a better sell. Although we're going to get that, we could get it a far away. So this might be a better sell setup if you want than trying to sell that one. If this drops, this would be a better sell. Can it be they're trying to go up with this point here, with this flag in the middle here? Right, an impulse, a flag, and another impulse. That is either a flat for downside or totally upside. Wait for it to break here, make a flag, and then we buy. So if we get a flag for the upside, confirming upside, we buy. But as of now, you can put a sell setup. Nothing will happen to your sell if it's going up. It's not going to tag you ever. So we put the sell. And if it goes up, we start looking for the buy, right? As of now, if it drops, you get 1 impulse, take the profit. New Zealand CAD. Looks the same, but you don't want to sell this. It's not going far. The depth of this impulse, this is going to stay here for a longer time and they don't drop far, see? You're not going to get a good risk to reward. We know they're going to break that low. We assume they can come to about this level. I don't know. Why did we choose that level? It was an impulse, previous impulse, I think, right? Something we used to choose that level. I don't know. We would just assume they're going to come there. Use a sell setup if you want it, right? You can take the Aussie set or the New Zealand, Aussie CAD or the New Zealand CAD. I'll go with the Aussie CAD. You can put it to sell. So I'll put a sell setup and then we'll see what happens to there. I don't think we're trying to go up as yet. Here's the thing. This is not going to drop now. This has to come back here, make a flat, probably go back up there and then drop. Right? This is an incomplete pattern. So we wait. We wait on it. New Zealand Swiss. Okay, this one broke the low. It didn't go. I think we'd entered that trade, close it, and put the entry under the low. Now we're at the top there, and they look like they want to go up. Let's see if we're going up. That could go up from this point. It's a Swiss pair, and all the Swiss pair are at the bottom of a structure, right? So we put this. This was, we're copying it for another trade that we saw on the 15 minutes. This could go up from here. Go back to the 1 hour. Do we have a buy setup? It did make a low, right? So do we have a buy setup here? We had a buy setup, I would say. Had a perfect buy setup here. You could have made an argument for a buy above the top. You'd have to keep a stop under the low. If you bought here under the last impulse, if you bought, this was the buy setup, right? On the last impulse. So you can put that once it comes to the top, put it to break even and leave it, right? Let's see how much pips is this stop is going to be if we take it above the top. That's 68 pips. You can do that. You can take it above the top if you want, or wait for a flag. So because it can become a bigger flat. You can take it above the top or wait for a flag. This can become a bigger flat, right? But this looks like a reversal sign. So I'll probably go with it. I'll go with the trade for a buy. And then we'll manage it. It can tag you and pull back. You'd have to be, we know how to manage trades, right? We'll manage that. From where this is, this point could be a big up move. New Zealand yen. Okay, this is an up, but it's gone already. And we're still pretty much in the downside. Let's see if this has a big move to the upside. Yeah, it's gone already. You broke out and it's, yeah, there's a move to the upside. That is this one. So in this big correction, this could literally go back to the top here. Come back here, go back there, and drop here. Right, I think that was one of the patterns we drew last week in the room, and I tell you guys you should take, because this is the most corrected part, take note of it, that we could get this pattern. Well, let's see if that happens. We still have a chance to buy to there, so don't chase it because it's gone. The entry order for us is gone. Wait for the next entry order, wait for the next flag. Can it drop one more before they go? Yeah, it can drop one more. This can drop here. So that is why your entry order from here is gone. That would have been a break even. You don't have that break even opportunity anymore, right? You have to wait for it to go, make another flag, take the next flag. So we get a break even chance. If any one of you in the trade already, good. So we're going to put it as a buy setup. We're waiting for a next flag. Got it? It did come to this level, not exactly where we wanted, but you can make an argument for that. And it is going up. So what we'll expect, this was a sell, take that off. This was a sell, take it off. We were expecting upside. So these were the two options we had. And I think all the yen are following that bigger flat in the middle option. That was the option we had. This would be a flat in the middle. We will go back up to the top, come back here, and then go back up there, complete this pattern. Or this just drops through the bottom, and then we will go with a contracting flat in there, something like that, right? Well, we didn't get that. So we're going with a bigger one. I think they're still going up. All right, I'm more optimistic that we're going up. We already, this is very sharp. So in the 15, let's see what happens. It could be a small correction. You had a lot of pullback inside, so that could be small. Wait for a flag above this stuff. Just to confirm that we're going to continue to go up, wait for a nice flag. This is still pretty sharp. So if they drop one more, there's a small consolidation. If they make another consolidation here and do this and drop one more, we'll go with running flat. We'll go with the buy. We'll take this buy, cut it off, put an end stop here, go with the next buy. So let's see how it goes. Go back to the 1 hour, wait for a flag, take the trade. So we're going to put a buy in the making. Most of them look like we're going to have this pattern in the middle. If they stay here longer, right, instead of going up, if this thing just comes here and do this, we'll look for the sell. Yen has a sell setup, right? Remember that? Yen has more of a sell setup than a buy setup. Cat Swiss, it didn't break. And if you took the buy, well, you got it. No, we were looking for a sell there, but it went up, so we didn't get that. It still looks flat to me, except that now this looks different. This looks like a bigger flat forming here, right? I'll go with a bigger because we broke the top. So we'll go with a bigger flat forming here. And that means this is a small correction of its own. Should we go up or down? I think they have to break the low first. We're expecting the upside, but this might just break the low first because this pullback in here was pretty deep. Let's see if we break the low first and then go up. If they're going up from here, let's say this was a deep pullback in here, this piece. Let's say that was just a deep pullback to go. Let it break the top, make a flag here, and then we start trading that up. I wouldn't go with that trade up now. So let's wait. This one actually was deep too before they go. You realize there was a deep pullback here and then they still go. Wait for the trade. Don't chase it. Swiss yen. This might be the only yen pair that has a sell setup. We really don't have one of those big flats forming here. So this could be the only one. You could go with an expanding flat, or you could make an argument expanding a running flat for this one. Running flat, you could make an argument that this is a running flat and that one is going to go to. Not the best one, so let's wait and see. You can get in the trade now. It's a little too late. Wait for the flag again. If you want to take it now, you have to put a stop under the low, and that's an aggressive. You want to take it exactly now, right? With a stop here. Not a bad idea. Let's see in the 15. Yeah, you can make an argument, but if it pulls back, that would be better. So rather than take it there now, wait for a pullback. Wait to see if you get a running flat. If this comes back here and make a running flat. Because I can see 1, 2, 3, and this one we still have. Right? If we're right about that, there's a chance it will pull back and then go. Then we'll put the entry above the top. So we're waiting for the buy set. If you want to take it here now, or if you want to take it where it is now, you have to put a stop there. Right? It can go. I'll probably wait for the pullback. So we'll put all the yen pairs, we have them in because we missed the early entry. So we have to go with wait for the next flag. Okay, this one is going down, but it's a much bigger flat now. So I think we wait. This whole thing has become a really huge flat here now. Just wait on it, right? Some huge flat. Wait for the whole setup to come. They can still spike one more, then come back because we didn't break the stop. And we never broke the low. It will give you this trade. It's going to give you one more down here eventually. We're going to be in a bigger running flat because this is the biggest flat here. So you're probably just going to come here, go back up there, make a flat there. Probably come then back, go back up and then drop. Then come here, sorry, not drop. Then this goes up from here. So you're just in a deep correction. I'll leave it alone for now. Let's go. Natural gas. I'm going to go with the whole webinar. It's going to be long, but traders will choose what they want. Natural gas, you got break even and that trade. It didn't go anywhere. Take it off. Don't sell it. I don't think that's the drop as yet. This one was a good drop. This one is a flag here, but not for the drop. This is not enough for the consolidation. You don't want to consolidate in here. This will probably drop here, go back up, give you a flat, and then we'll go with the drop. So wait for the trade. Oil. Okay. It didn't drop lower. It's still here. We took that trade. We closed it. We put the entry under the low. It didn't drop. It's going back up. You can go for the buy. It's going to retest this stop, right? So two things we're going to look for now. The retest of this stop and drop, or the retest of this stop and drop. So if it retests that top, we go with this one. 1, 2, 3. If we retest the top, we're going to go with 1, 2, 3, downside. If it drops before that, which means if it comes only to this stop here and then drop, we'll still go with this as a flat. It will still be a flat because this pullback is deep, this pullback is deep. So I think we just, if you want to take the buy, it's a risk to the top. It's a pretty risky trade. It looks upside, but it's a pretty risky trade. Right? This one did go not very far. So it's a very extreme buy. An extreme buy setup. I'll probably, you can take it and see how far it goes and then decide if you want it. The same should be here, an extreme risky buy setup. Right, so this was the sell, take that off, we close it, we had an entry here, you can go with the buy now. We don't have a sell setup, take this off. So it is an extreme trade. We never broke this low. If they're going to drop, they have to come here, go back up, and then make this sell. PayPal, I think we're going to take out most of this. PayPal, you might start looking for buy setups. Now that they dropped through the bottom here, look for buy setups. All right, we don't have any setup, but wait for the buy setup. You don't have anything here, stay away from this. Amazon might give you a buy setup because we're pretty much at the bottom here. So yes, I think there's a high probability they might come back to this stop. Wait for a flag somewhere in here and then go for that trade. If you're going to go for the trade, wait for a flag and go for it. What I think we're going to do this week is we're going to take off all of these and put the ones we actually trade. So for my YouTube viewers, if you have a recommendation of which one you would like us to trade, post it in the comment. And if my traders agree with it, we'll put it on, which means if most of my traders trade the one you recommend, we'll actually trade it. We'll put it on the list. US 30. Yep, you'll get a sell setup. You can actually get an aggressive sell setup, right? You can go with a really aggressive sell setup from here. I think that would make sense. If it goes higher, take it off. From this point, it's okay, but if it goes higher into this, you take it off. My traders know that, right? So that's a good one. Let's see here. Pretty much the same thing. This one did go back up as we expected. And we were expecting all of them to go back up, make a flat, and then look for the sell setup. You can go with the same thing here. It's an aggressive sell setup, which means if they actually, I'll put the sell, aggressive sell, and aggressive sell. And this would be the same. This one actually didn't break the top. Nope, don't put the sell here as yet. It will be a contracting flat. Right, so this one could go and break that top now, which means these two will cancel if they go break the top. We'll still look for the sell setup, but not this sell setup. So I would not put this one. If I'm putting this one as a sell, I'll put it under the low because we didn't break that top. The previous two did break the top, right? See, this one broke the top. See, this one broke the top. All right, so these are good sell setups. It's the same thing. Take one of them. You don't have to take all of them. Next, take this off. Not ready for a sell. This is too slow up. Wait, if this thing could even go up, right? Because you can see that these pull back that are getting short, they can go up higher. We'll have to wait for that. Nifty, you have a very good buy setup still, right? Take off this one. This was the first one we closed. We had an entry order to buy here. It's actually coming back much deeper than I expected, but it might just be a correction. You'll have to be, if you get a flag here for this to go one more up, just one more up, take the trade. And then be careful. We're expecting it to go all the way there. Let's put it here back. Let's see if it goes. If it doesn't go, try to get out for break even because it is going to make an impulse here, right? It's going to make an impulse here. If it's going to come back down like this, you want to get out of that for break even. But if this continues to go, you stay with the trade. It can do both. See, this one broke out here, went there and the started come down, you got rid of the trade. This thing stays for hours in the same spot, so you don't have to worry. Bitcoin. Okay, there's a likelihood now we're going to break the low because we're just confirming this one made a spike, reverse, you're making a flag here, you're likely going to drop, pull back, drop, break the low, and look for the upside. It is going to break the low once more. That doesn't mean anything. All it means is you keep breaking the low once more, right? Let them make a new low. Every time they make a new low, you look for a buy setup. You can get out of that trade for positive. All right, so let this make a flat here, drop, break the low, we look for a buy setup. It could stay here for a longer time. There is a logic in this, but not for this one. I could do a special webinar and tell you about the logic of not understanding Bitcoin, the logic of why they make these flats at the bottom so much before they go back up, right? So we can discuss that in another session. Let's go. Dash. All of them will make a new low. This one is already confirming the low. This one, even if you wanted to sell it, this is a perfect sell setup here. Drop, wait for the buy setup. Let it make a new low, and then we look for a buy setup. This one is pretty low. Here's the thing why you don't want to keep this in your pocket. Because if this is going to collapse, I don't think it's going to collapse. If it's going to collapse, you're not going to be in a trade. But if they're just making a low to go back up, which is what I think they're going to do, they're going to make a low to go back up. We'll look for a buy setup. We'll get in the trade and we'll put a break even. So if they drop again, we're not in the trade. But if they continue to go back up, we will be in that trade. So we're going to use setups to get in the trade. If we get the setups, if we don't get it, we're not in the trade. So this is going to drop one more lower. This is already, that's kind of telling you this is a flag for a sell. Here you're going to get one more. This one is not exactly telling us one more lower. This one is telling us it is still in the consolidation. So I can see this actually making a spike here, make a bigger flat here, and then probably drop. This looks more like it's going to make a spike here, make a bigger flat, then drop, and then probably go back up. So let's see. This, we're in the middle of nowhere too, so this looks like it could make a flat there. This is a flat. This one is probably going to come here, go back up, make a flat, and then probably drop. This might turn out to be a bigger flat here as well before they do that. So we're going to stay in this low range for a long time. All of summer, you can be in this low range. Right now, there's not a buy or sell setup on it. Same here. You don't have any direct sense of direction. Looks more downside. This here looks more downside. Go there and then drop. That looks more downside, but In the big picture, it's not. This is a sharp move. So if this doesn't come very far, we're still going to go back up. This could be a correction. Just wait for setups. If you don't want to sell it, wait for it to drop and then look for the buy. OMG, this also looks like it's going to make a bigger flat here, see? Because this was relatively sharp and then they started to consolidate here. So I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of make a flat here, come here, then go back up to this top for a bigger flat. Make another drop and then go up. So we can be stuck in this low range here for a very long time. Making flats, drop slowly, make another flat, drop slowly, just stay low for a long time. XRP. Because there's not much low they can go. This one is going to drop. This is clearly going to drop. You can see this probably go back up there and drop. So wait for it. It might make a different pattern, but it's going to drop. This will also drop. It's going to make a different pattern, which means I think this would eventually pull back here and then drop, make a flat. Let's see. AMP. I'm not sure if that's real, but if it's real, it's in line with what we think it is going to do, because this here makes a spike. You can probably assume that that is completed there. And this is going to drop, make a new low and then up again. Well, I put the drop too big. I don't know where it's going to drop to, but it's if that is what we think it is, then that work in line with what we want. You got our expanding flat, let it drop one more and then wait for it. If it's not real, then you're still going to drop, right? This is still going to drop. So if that is real, perfect. You've got your running flat, right? So you've got 1, you've got 2, you've got 3 expanding flats. I'll put it as an expanding flat. If it's real, if it's not real, you're still going to break the low and then go back up. So wait for the break of the low, wait for the upside. Let's go. This one, right? They got to the top and now it's going to break the low. This would be a sell setup. This one is not going high. We still haven't got this sharp move here. Unless we look at a contracting flat like this. I don't like the contracting flat, so I'm going to wait for this to make a sharp move. So at some point, this one is going to drop one more, and we could still make that sharp impulse before we go down. So if you get a buy setup, if this drops here and give you a buy setup, it's worth taking because you can get this, and then you get the drop, right? So one sudden spike could happen. If it doesn't give you setup, then let it drop, let it keep dropping, right? Now, if you give a setup and they just come here and go back down, you'll get out for break even. You'll get out for positive maybe. Same here, downside. This is consolidating here. It could go up a little more, but I don't see big upside in it. This is downside. You can see the flag already. This one is confirming that running flat is over. We can assume that's the running flat, and this is going to drop one more, then upside. So once it drops and breaks this low, any buy setup is a good trade. This is already dropping. This one is strange because it's an incomplete pattern. I don't see the pattern unless you look at this as the running flat ending there. Then this piece for a drop makes sense, right? This here as a correction and another one here to drop makes sense. But if not, then this is going to drop here and give you a sudden spike. In any case, it breaks the low, look for buy setup. ETH, we're going to drop one more. This is definitely going to drop one more. You can take that off now. It's going to drop one more, maybe even make a flat and then go. But once you break this low, any buy setup you get, you go for it. Wait for the buy setups, take that off. This, nothing. It's going to drop and break the low, take that off. It's going to break this low because you can, that's a complete running flat. They're going to break the low, then go back up. This, a complete running flat, break the low, go back up. This one is just coming down. It's coming down really, really slow. So I hope they break the low first, and then you can look for a sell setup, buy setup. Because you can make an argument that this flat here is completed. 1, 2, 3, that's a complete flat. So this is just dropping slowly down. And the last one, like, same here. We're in some kind of a weird big flat here, this thing. Comes here, probably go back up there, drop, break the low, and then go, because this looks incomplete. 1, 2, 3. You might come back here, go back there, make a flat like this, and then drop, and then break it down. It doesn't look like it's going to drop right now, but it could drop right. If it drops right now, wait for it to break the low, look for buy setups. That's about it. So all of them, wait. Let them break lows and then go for buy setups. Okay, guys, thank you very much for my YouTube viewers. If you manage to get to the end here and you like it, share it, please. My traders, trade with care. I would see all of you in the trading room very soon. What time is it now? Let's see. We're close to 8 o'clock, so I'll see you about 20, 30 minutes. I'll see you in the room. All right. Take care. Trade with care. Bye.